Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a deep dive into Snowflake Horizon Catalog. The Snowflake's built-in agentic governance and discovery solution for AI data flow. If you have ever struggled with keeping sensitive P2 data secure across multi-cloud environments, ensuring data quality or governance AI models and semantic view for LLMs, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the theory, we are going to execute a full end-to-end hands-on lab in Snowflake covering automated P2 classification, multi-type masking, row-level access policy, projection policy, semantic view for Cortex Analyst, and Cortex AI Redact for unstructured text. If you are building modern data apps for managing enterprise data lake in Snowflake, you know that keeping your data secure, compliant, and easy to find can quickly turn into a massive operational headache. That's where Snowflake Horizon comes in. It's Snowflake built-in unified governance solution that brings compliance, security, privacy, discovery, and collaboration under one single roof. In today's video, we are doing a deep dive into what Snowflake's Horizon actually is, why is matter for your platform strategy, and how its key features from tag-based masking or to Cortex search work in real-world enterprise use cases. Snowflake Horizon rests in five pillars: compliance, security, privacy, discovery, and collaboration. The first, automated data classification, native data matrix functions for quality monitoring, and 90 days access history auditability. Second is security, combining RBAC and DAC with tag-based dynamic data masking and conditional row access policies. Privacy, advanced policies like projection constraint, aggregation cohort limits, and clean room to prevent raw P2 harvesting. Discovery, a universal search powered by Cortex AI to instantly index tables, views, iceberg tables, Trimly tabs, and semantic views. Collaboration, live, zero copy, cross cloud data sharing, and internal listings like marketplace without complex ETL pipeline. Now, let's start with pillar one, which is compliance. In an enterprise environment, compliance isn't optional, it's mandatory. Horizon tackles this with three core capabilities. First, automatic classification. Horizon automatically scans your tables using ML models to flag sensitive fields like P2, emails, credit cards, numbers, and national ID as soon as data lands. Second, access history and lineage. Want to know who queried a specific table 3 months ago? Or how a column transformed from row to gold? Access history gives you complete immutable audit logs and visual column level data lineage. The third is very important, data quality. Horizon allows you to define declarative metrics functions like null check, freshness timers, and duplicate counts, giving you automated data health check right inside your pipelines. Second pillar is security. How do you enforce a zero trust security model across millions of rows? Horizon builds upon Stan's role-based access control called ABAC and introduces powerful declarative policy. With row access policies, you can dynamically restrict table rows based on user roles or department. For example, sales department in North America sees only North America's transaction, while the European manager only sees European data, all from the exact same table. Then there are a projection policy. This prevents unauthorized users from performing select star or projecting specific sensitive column into analytical results altogether, ensuring strict list privilege access. Now let's talk about pillar three, which is privacy. How do you allow analysts to derive business insight without expressing raw personal data? Horizons give you three game-changing tools here. First, tagging and tag-based masking. Instead of writing separate masking policies for 500 different tables, you simply assign a tag like confidential or say P2 to a column. Snowflake automatically applies your predefined dynamic data masking rules everywhere that tag is attached. Second is dynamic data masking. High privilege roles see the raw values, while lower privilege roles see abstract or hashes computed dynamic at query runtime. Third, aggregation policies. This is amazing for differential privacy. An aggregation policy forces required to return only aggregated statistics like average salary or group count, preventing users from every querying individual role level microdata. Fourth is discovery. Data is useless if your team can't find it or doesn't know if it's a trusted. Snowflake Horizon powers universal search, supercharged by Snowflake Cortex AI. Analysts can type natural language queries like show me active churn metrics for quarter two into Snowside search. Horizontal instantly scans schemas, table text, metric definitions, and column descriptions to surface that exact verified dataset. No more asking to your developer or analyst. Our final pillar is collaboration. Traditional data sharing involves slow, insecure ETL pipelines and FTP file dumps. Snowflake Horizon powers direct data sharing and the Snowflake Data Marketplace with native governance. When you share a dataset with internal business units or external partners, all your Horizon security policies like row access, column masking, aggregation policies stay attached. You share live zero copy data while maintaining total control over privacy and compliance. Let's see in Snowflake. So let's first set up a role. So we use security admin and we'll set up four different roles. Assign this custom role to a sysadmin for governance. Assign all roles to my users, so I will access it. Now create a warehouse for Horizon and grant usage on this warehouse to all the customers. Now I'm granting a privilege of creating database to data engineer role. I'm using this role. I'm creating database and schema. I'm granting usage privileges to data governor role and granting create schema role. Also, all the object usage role or objects to governor. Giving you select on all tables and views to governor role. Also, I'm granting all the privileges to IT admin role. I'm giving usage on database and schema and select privilege on tables to data engineer, data users. They can only select. Now, using a data governor, let me create one schema for which containing classifier. Okay. We'll create one more schema which contains tags. Now, create when we are creating one table, it is used to map role with state. So, whichever role is assigned to state, that state data can only visible to that particular role. I'm just for this demo purpose, I'm giving you the role name data user and state is message. Now I'm creating one more schema for security policies. Use security admin and grant required privileges to governor and admin and now we'll use account admin role and granting some database role to a respective role. Okay, now grant database role data matrix user to data engineer. Similarly, granting executed permission on data matrix function to the data engineers. Also, application role data quality monitoring viewer to a data engineer. Previously, it was not available. Now it's available. Similarly, I'm granting governance viewer, object viewer, data matrix user, usage viewer, and execute data matrix function to a data governor role. The all same roles are granting to IT admin. Now, using data engineering role, I am creating two tables called customer and customer orders. I am loading data from S3. I am granting select privileges to admin, user, and governor on both tables. Now, using account admin role, I am granting apply tag, masking, row access policy, aggregation, and projection policy to a data governor role. Also, I am granting database role classification admin to governor. Using a data engineer role, I am creating one view on top of customer and customer orders. Using account admin, I'm also granting a create view privilege queue semantic view on data schema to data governor. Okay. Also granting create function procedure schema function on classifier to data governor role. This is very important. If you enable cross region, then if some models are available on some different region, instead of giving an error, it will go and use it. Okay. Now my setup is ready. Okay. Now I am going to data engineering. Let me load again. So, Now, using a data engineering role, we'll show our roles, all roles. Out of that, which are system defined roles, so I will select those. Okay, these are system related role. Now, use user admin and we'll create one role called data analyst for analyst. Okay, using a secret admin, I will grant you required privileges on warehouse, database, and also assign this custom role to my own user. Now, using this role, just see what you can see in customer. Okay, you can see all the P2 information from customer data. Okay, now using analyst role, you will see. Are you able to see the data? Yes. So you are able to see the data, but with full data. I mean, you there is no masking. Okay, I can see the personal name, his last name, phone number, email. Okay. Now, using a data engineer, I'm just setting table customer set data matrix schedule as trigger on change. So whenever data change, it will be active. It will be trigger. Now customer add data metric function Snowflake. So there are different function null count on email. Okay. Similarly, unique count and duplicate count on particular column, whereas total volume is on table. Okay. So row count function I applied. Now, if I see the null count in on there are 10 nulls on email. There are 988 unique count, whereas there are 3 are duplicate. Okay, on particular email. So there are now so parameter like so you can see data matrix schedule. It is on trigger on changes default 60 days table CFS. Okay. Now this is default. Okay, now I want to create a custom, right? One custom metric function. So I am creating data matrix function invalid email if the email is not valid or not. So based on that, I just select one format. Okay, grant this function to public. Now I use this function. So you can see there are 37 emails which are invalid. They are not actually in expected format. Now I will previously schedule on trigger changes. Now I will schedule at every 5 minutes. Okay. Every 5 minutes it will check if the value is correct or not. Now on this table add I will add the function invalid on particular email. Okay. Now I tag that function to a column email. Now it's the same things if I check. You can see it's a 5 minutes instead of trigger on change, and every 5 minutes it will run and it will check. Okay. Now we'll check the schedule. Okay. So there are invalid email count, duplicate count, null count, row count, unique count. Okay. Just wait for some time, then you will see the data completely visible over here. Okay. Now, now go as a data governance users. Okay. So first check with data user. Okay. What is with the data user? What they can see. So they can see all the details. Okay. So you can see there are a lot of P2 information, name, phone number, email address, SSN number. Okay. So now using a governor rule, we'll create schema if not exist, but schema is still there. Use the schema. I'm creating a one classification tag. Okay. So create a this is tag like called data classification. Allowed values are P2, restricted, sensitive, internal, public. Okay. The entire data classification with AI automation and propagation. On propagate is on dependency and data movement. Okay. Now we are creating using sysadmin. We will create classification profile. Okay. So my classification profile is created using again data governor problem. I'm just assigning this this classification profile, okay, to database horizontally. Now all this function is an AI function. So you can see this is the format. It's high, square, date of birth, restricted, okay. Now we'll query this. So you can see horizontally next schema customer birth date is data classification. It's a restricted. City is sensitive. Email is P2. So it classified in this way. Okay. So now let's be only data classification tags. So you can see. So column is email. So email is classified as P2. SSN is a P2. Birth date is restricted. Phone number is restricted. City, first name, last name, street address is sensitive. And job is internal. Okay. Now we'll use classifier schema. We are creating one classifier, custom classifier, okay, which is called as credit card. We give name as a credit card. Okay. Now we use the see you can see the credit card. Classifier. Now call credit card and this is the format I will give like for so there is one MasterCard payment card and there is MX credit. Okay. So now select credit card list. You can see there are now verify credit card data exists or not. Yes. So you can see verify credit data exists. Okay. Now reclassify with custom clarifier. Okay. So you can see payment card. Okay. Now we'll create a tag-based masking policy. We use governor and tag schema. Create opt-in lookup table for masking decision. Okay. So I'm creating one table called customer consent map. Okay. Grant select privileges on this table to data user and IT admin. Okay. Now I'm creating one masking policy called data qualification mastering. Okay. So we have to create based on type, like if it's a string, so we have to create string. Okay. If it's a number, we have to create a number masking policy. If it's a date column, we'll create one masking policy for date, and next for timestamp. Okay, so we have created four masking policy. Okay, for string, for number, for date, and for timestamp. Now we are attaching this masking policy, okay, to my data classification. So now we are creating one row access policy. Okay. So if it's an account admin or engineer or governor or IT admin, it should return the value is true. Otherwise, it should return false. Okay. So this is the row level access policy we are going to create. We are going to attach this row level access policy to customer opt-in policy. Okay. Now test, like whatever we created. Now user governor role. If I write a select, okay, on customer, I will give all the data. Okay. Now select count star on this. So yeah. So update customer in customer is 500. Okay. Now use this role data engineer try to data user. So you can see the name is string. So that policy which we masking policy is applied, you cannot see. On email you can see the P redirected. SSN you can see P redirected. Phone number is star. Birth date you cannot see. Okay. Now pin is yes. If the customer is opting this policy, then it will return this result. Okay. So there are 500. Okay. Now see using a governor, let's see how it downstream tables are affected. Okay. So I am creating one table called customer copy from the same table customer where we have applied a masking and row level policy. Now use this governor role and select this. So this is the table. See all the policy whichever we apply to customer, downstream it also apply to this. Okay. So now use user and try to ex- extract the data. Still the same thing. He cannot see the restricted one. Huh? Now, as we say, like Now I will drop the role level access policy. Okay. And set the classification tag. Now we'll create a role level access policy. You can see if it account admin, engineer, J governor, then they will see this. Okay. Now using a data user, you should not see any data from the state. You can see all the data is from Massachusetts only. He cannot see other data. Okay. Now aggregation policy, very useful policy. We created aggregation policy called aggregation policy, and if it's account admin, data engineer or data governor, then they can see that no constraint, but else there will be minimum group. If they query write less than 100, then they cannot see the data. Okay. Now apply this aggregation policy to the customer order table. Now, if, as a data user, he's trying like top 10 orders. So you can see it will give an error. Okay. Now, this is more than 100 rows. It will, so USD, and you can see the row is more than 100, so it will return the value. Similarly, I will join this table with customer. So you can see the row count is more than 100, so it can be visible, otherwise it will give an error. So this is my aggregate policy and is useful when individual data will not be shown. Okay. Now I use the governor rule and see, so I can see that data. Okay. Now let me first unset all the data collection and I will create a projection policy. Okay. So what is projection policy? Say you can see projection policy is written when its projection consists true or false. Okay. So now let me apply this projection policy to customer table. Now using a suppose, see, this is the error. Why? Because I created a projection policy on this table, okay, on zip code. Okay. So if you want to query, my zip code is very sensitive column here. So I how to extract, you can exclude this zip from the query and you will get the data. Similarly, but same time you can filter in zip. Okay. So this is the advantage of projection. You can, if you have any column which you want to restrict it to access, you can apply projection policy on that particular column. Okay. Let me unset it. Okay. And I will apply as a sensitive. Okay. So key takeaways, classification is with custom tag mapping, with 5 levels between public, enable automatically, and class custom classifier for data, domain specific data. Masking, single base policy for multi-level protection, automatic application to all tag columns, role-based access control, advanced policies like role access policies for filtering, aggregation policies to prevent individual record access, projection policy to control visibility, pro- propagation benefits derived table automatically inherit flags, masking policy applied without manual work, and scales to thousands of downstreams. Okay. Now moving back to governance and admin role. Okay. You can see I will set as IT admin. Now I want to monitor how many queries have access and all. So all this monitoring you can do using IT admin role where you can fire all the queries required. Like you can see the asset customer table number of queries are 6257 and all. Okay. What is the breakdown between read and write? So you can use this query. You can see this is the read and how many times it read, how many times it write. You can see this. Okay. You can also give last few reads and all. Okay. Last few writes. You can see longest running query. You can find out. Okay. So this is all my monitoring part. I can do it using a admin role. Now semantic view creation. Okay. So using a data governor okay, role, I will create one semantic view. Okay. I will verify it whether the semantic view created correctly or not. You can see the name is customer order analysis. Database is DB semantic view. Okay. Now all the dimension I created with dimension, so you can see this all are my dimension. Okay. Also I can query matrix. I created like this is my matrix on customer count, average order value, max, mean, total order. Okay. Similarly, facts I can find out which all facts are included. Okay. And I want to see the described semantic. Okay. So you can see this. Now, total revenue by state. So I can write this and I can find state-wise revenue generation. Okay. Top 10 customer by revenue. Okay. So you can write this thing. You can find like this is the company customer reason giving. Similarly, I can write some query for monthly revenue trend. Okay. You can see this is order month. Revenue currency I can find out using MNTV. It's a US dollar. Okay. So, so as a governor, you can see all the data. Okay. You see all the personal data. But if I use user role, so ideally that data should not be visible. You can see I have not applied any my masking policy in semantic view, but as my raw tables are masked, so you cannot see the data carry forward. Okay, that is the security which we wanted to highlight over here. Okay, now this Cortex edit function you can use this. Okay, feedback. I'm just so AI redirect function basically used for unstructured data. If in your feedback or comment anywhere you find like that P2 information with this number email address, so what it will do, it will detect those P2 information from unstructured data and mask it using a AI redirect function. Okay. So this is the way you can see, give feedback and you can mask it. Okay. Now this AI redirect function will not work on trial accounts, so be careful. Okay. And now the last is governance. As I said, the user can ask question in natural language, and like any, they will get this information from the. Okay. So that's all about Snowflake Horizon. Okay, and let me. You can get this information on Snowflake GitHub repository. All the scripts which I ran are available there. Okay. So bring all together. Here is the how Horizon fits into a team's day-to-day workflow. Compliance, security, compliance for classification, BMF, tagging, access history. Primary business is automated regulatory auditability, GDPR, HIPAA, data quality monitoring. Security and compliance officer get automatic GDPR and HIPAA compliance and P2 classification and full lineage. Data engineer gets automated quality checks, policy driven tags, and simplified RBAC. Data analyst and scientists get AI powered search, trusted dataset, and safe access to privacy prevented. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like, just subscribe my channel, like and share, and put your feedback on my comment. Thank you.